Cool. Okay. Bring myself back to the screen. Dysfunctional. I guess we could start with the fact that we call ourselves Homo sapiens when we're certainly not wise and we're barely even sentient. I went digging for poems and it took me about, 5 minutes. What can I tell you? No school today. After the 1940 Associated Press photograph, a boy sits amid the ruins of a London bookshop following an air raid on October 8th. He seizes the day, spends the hours before sunset and blackout, seated on cooled rubble, Mallory in his hands, words in his eyes, a different world than this autumn London around him. If it rains, the books in their heaps will suffer more indignity. If another bomb finds the block, they'll burn, only to be finally extinguished by the hoses of the fire brigade. Now is the hour to grasp the offered chance. A dozen years from now, he'll winter involuntarily in Korea. 4 more, and he'll summer in Malaysia. Note again being in the wrong place with the wrong climb. And when each war is over, he thinks it might be the last. That hopeful ember in the species' nature thinking lessons will have been taught and learned. The Arthurian legend in his hands, the crumpled map in the broken bookseller's window, should have served to warn his younger self that things made rote rarely unravel. Meditations for sleep. 1. Subic Bay, 1968. Moose, Hank, and I found a small beach south of the pier our carrier was berthed to. The fish were bright and beautiful, unafraid. The water so clear that to snorkel was to float somewhere between the clouds and the planet. My sleep has been delayed, difficult, filled with memories of the dead Marine, my age, flown back with the wounded last week while we cruised our station's oval path between combat and the hospital ship. I'll reuse that sense of floating tonight, a suspension to bring sleep, stave dreams. 2. Clearwater, 1995. Pain out, peace in. Repeat until the wanting to die is turned to needing to live. My therapist was right. And this is what it means to owe someone your life. 3. Chicago, 2022. All these rushing years later, there are nights when the brain just won't turn down the volume, or when I fear sleep and the sights it might bring. Our middle daughter says her trick for this is to recite the phonetic alphabet additively. Alpha, Alpha Bravo, Alpha Bravo Charlie. It works, but too often brings me back to the sea off Da Nang, the beach, the jungle. Feeling afloat does the same. No surprise. And so I count my old man's half breaths, the inhalations and their opposites, down from 99 to 0, then back up. I'm gratified when losing track means I'm close. And last, Matrushka Russia, Mother Russia. Mother, if I may call you that. I was born elsewhere after the great patriotic war, but only barely, and have lived to old age without significant want, without being personally hated, with such immense good fortune and privilege. And if my education about the past and the rest of the world's present was incomplete, still, it taught me to remember, to recognize the things that haunt my nights and make me strive for better days through the small things I can do. And Mother, since we're all family, I am not ashamed to say that I understand about forgetting, how the brain feels full and leaking at the same time, the way old and new things battle for a place at the table, getting the details wrong or misplaced, sometimes laughing at its harmlessness, others frightened by what I've done or do or had my name attached to, making excuses too often and apologies too few. But Mother, to you from a great-grandfather, with all the children you have carried on your broad back, I would think you should remember the ache of loss, the terrible pain of those gone in an eye's blink, always so too soon. The children dancing around the statue in Stalingrad, the dead youth eternally guarding the road to Moscow. Your differently religioned, but definitely equally human relatives in the shuttles. The unsuspecting enemies of one tyrant or another. Remember so full and sharp that you must cry for another's children and do them no wrong. Thank you.
Thank you.